Good morning, everyone. Finally, after some extended period of dragging around and other projects taking priority, I ended up getting this welder system just about ready to try. So I thought I would just take a minute and explain the purpose, um, and maybe when I get to make a demo tomorrow or the next day. I'm not sure exactly when, but when I make a demo, you'll understand the reason why I've been wanting to do one of these. But this is a what used to be a sparkle welder. Um, this little sparkle welder came to me, I think, through like AliExpress or the similar Chinese manufacturer distribution. The purpose of the thing originally was to do what they call permanent jewelry, where you take a bracelet, let's say, and instead of putting a clasp on the ends of the bracelet, you basically put the bracelet on someone and then you weld a ring instead of a clasp. You weld a ring so that that bracelet can't come off without being cut off. I don't know the purpose, to be honest with you. That seems like crazy to me, but I'm not a jewelry guy, so hey, what do I know? But the point being is that during the uh, development or the setup of this, I stripped the original guts out of the welder, which really was only good for I want to say like 40 amps of welding, which really doesn't do much of anything. At least not in the range I was looking for, and it may be less. This might have been a 20 amp welder. There's a lot of stuff going on right there for 20 amps of welding capability. So in the run up to this, I stripped out a microwave transformer and knocked off the secondary coil and then strung on there a couple of wraps of I want to say it's down here, number two wire, two wraps of number two gauge wire, and so this should do give or take 100 amps of welding capability. 100 amps of welding, pretty strong and stiff. So I don't need all of that. So I have a controller that I installed here that will take the welder and make it a pulse welder. And this welding unit is actually has two. It's a dual pulse capable welder of up to 100 amps of welding capability. So really was relatively straightforward. These front controls are no longer used since the control board itself has the settings um, and the setup. So those are no longer used. I added two new outlets here, outputs, connectors for my wire. I'm going to repurpose this little TIG wire holder and use it for my wiring or for my welding purposes. So that'll be a quick job for tomorrow, getting that taken care of. So I'm going to just take a quick second here to show you that this is a NY-D02 control board. Uh, it uses the microwave transformer. It has 110 volt input. It also has a control voltage transformer, a 9 volt AC transformer, which is this right here. So it uses 110 in and outputs 9 volts AC, which runs the control board here. This is the display interface and the control for the unit. So really, it's a very simple circuit. The fused protection is in this device here. In the actual connector for the 110 input, there's a fuse in there, runs over to the main power switch here. The power then runs out to the transformer to the card. Okay. This jack right here that has sparkle welder above it, that's funny, is, let's see, it's a foot control. So that when you're welding, you just basically step on the foot control and it'll do one pulsed output of whatever the settings are to weld. So that's how you control, rather than just touching it and holding it for a specific time. This is your safety feature here, is that you step on this, the control fires off for whatever the settings are on your device and then stops. So the nice thing about the unit is it's highly adjustable. I'll go ahead and turn it on. It's highly adjustable. It's got settings for not only time, which is pulse width of the output, it's also got a setting for the current of the output pulse. So it can limit the current and it can also adjust the timing. So the nice part about this unit is that on the device itself, you can scroll through the settings and then adjust the different pieces of the device. So in this mode, the first LED, I'm just going to roll this because a lot of people have questioned what this capability is, but I'm going to just go right through it real quick so that if anybody else is watching that's interested in this NY-D02 controller, this first LED represents the power being applied to the system. The second LED, let me get this so I don't make any mistakes here. The second LED will light when the foot switch is engaged. The third LED is when the output is triggered. The fourth LED shows you that the board is ready, and I think it corresponds to this green LED here. That shows you that the board is ready to run. The fifth LED is for your time of your first pulse. So right now it's set for 2. If I push this button down and the unit starts to flash, I can adjust how many pulses I want, or the duration actually, not how many, but the duration of the pulse. So if I set it to 0, that means that first pulse will not be available. So I'll have to rely on the second pulse output for an output. If I set it on 1, that gives me a 20 millisecond output pulse. If I set it to 2, it's double, 40 mil, 3, 60, 4, 80. So every increment is 20 milliseconds of time. Okay, so I'm going to just turn this back to 1. I'll hit the button to save it, and now that's there, ready to go. So that corresponds again to the 5th LED here. So if I go to the 6th LED, you can see this reads 500. In reality, this is your output capability. So it's got 100 amps of output capability. This 500 represents 50% of the 100 amp capability. The decimal point is implied. It reads out in tenths of a percent, so it's 500 tenths or 50%. and I can adjust that pressing the button. As soon as it flashes, now I'm capable, or it's capable of being adjusted. It can go down to 30% as a minimum. So 30 amps output is the minimum, 100 amp output is the maximum. I'm going to set it right now for 40 while I'm playing with it, since I don't really know exactly what I'm going to need when I start trying to weld the pieces. I'm going to show you next video. I'll show you what that is. So 40, and then hit that, and it's entered. So that's first pulse. So I'm going to use the first pulse, and that first pulse is going to be 20 milliseconds at 40 amps, or 40% of the output capability. So the next one, lights, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The seventh LED is the pulse delay between the first and second pulses. So that pulse delay, I believe, is also in milliseconds, 20. So that's a 60 millisecond pulse delay between the two pulses. So this is set to use pulse 1. There'll be a 60 millisecond delay between pulse 1 and pulse 2. The nice part about this unit, since it's a dual pulse output, the first pulse is generally set kind of like a cleaning pulse. It gives the welder, and it gives the workpiece a little jolt to clean the welding spot before you hit it with the higher current pulse to do the physical welding. Kind of a interesting concept. So I'm going to leave that for now, and then the next light is the 9th light. I'm sorry, the 8th LED, and that again, that is the time of the second pulse. So that's 2 times 20 milliseconds, so that's 40 milliseconds. I'm going to leave that set. And then the 9th is 60 or 600, so that's 60% of the 100 amps, so that's 60 amps. So that second pulse is stronger than the first pulse, which is basically what they recommend. So that's the setups, and that's how you determine what those settings are and what those LED lights mean. Okay. So that's kind of it for today. I'm going to cut this here. It's already gone kind of too long. And I hope, again, the next video you see out of there will be this thing attempting to weld my test pieces. So thanks for looking in, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section. Have a great evening. See you next time.